The Honorable Justices of the Supreme Court and the Honorable Judge of the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. All persons having business before the court are admonished to draw nigh and give their attention to the court now sitting.
Please be seated. Good morning and welcome to the Kansas Supreme Court, both to those of you who are in the courtroom today and those of you who may be watching us through our live stream. We welcome all of you and are so pleased to have so many happy faces in front of us today. So we set today, both the Kansas Supreme Court and the United States Federal Court in special session today for the purpose of receiving the report of the Board of Law Examiners and to swear in our newest attorneys. All of those who have qualified for admission by passing the February 2025 bar exam. That's an applause. Today is a day where we celebrate. And I'm very honored to be able to share this wonderful day with you and to personally congratulate you on what you have accomplished as you become a member of the Kansas Bar. You and all of those who have been a part of your support network have much to be proud of today. You have really accomplished a great deal. You also have a right to be proud of the role you assume today. That role is aptly expressed in the words of the opening preamble to the Kansas Code of Professional Responsibility. It begins, a lawyer, as a member of the legal profession, is a representative of clients, an officer of the legal system, and a public citizen having special responsibility for the quality of justice. Well, I encourage you to reflect on those words today and those responsibilities that you are assuming. As I said before, today is mostly a day of celebration. So celebrating with you today are my colleagues who I would like to introduce to you at this time. On my immediate right is Justice Eric Rosen, who is a native of Topeka. You can hold your applause.
No, that was fine.
Yes, yeah. Nobody else gets it, right? No, anyway. Skipping over, but Justice Dan Bile is a native of El Dorado. And then back to this side, we're doing this in the way we sit on the bench. Justice Caleb Stiegel, who is a native of Lawrence. And then Justice KJ Wall is a native of the Scott City area. And on the far end, on this side, Justice Melissa Standridge, who also grew up in the Lawrence area. Our seventh justice, Justice Evelyn Wilson, is not able to join us today. But we do have a special guest with us today from the federal court, Judge Rich Federico, the United States Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit. We're very pleased to have him with us today. All of us are excited to welcome you and to enjoy this moment with you as you take your oaths to one or both courts. And so let's get on with that. So I would like to introduce at this time Carol Park, an attorney in private practice in Hays. Since 2014, Ms. Park has served on the Board of Law Examiners and is the current chair of that board. As you may know, the board reviews all of your law applications as well as the issues of character and fitness before qualifying you to set for the bar, and then they administer and grade the bar exam. Our law examiners are all practicing attorneys, either in private practice or some other role in the legal sector, or they are judges. They give their time, sometimes at great personal and financial sacrifice, in order to provide this service to you and to the bar. We very much appreciate all that they do. So Ms. Park, would you please come forward? And would you please provide the report of the Kansas Board of Law Examiners?
Thank you. Honorable Justices of the Kansas Supreme Court and Judge Federico, ladies and gentlemen, joining me this morning is Ann Emmert, also a member of the Kansas Board of Law Examiners. And the Board of Law Examiners respectfully reports the individuals whose names I will read submitted their applications for admission to the Kansas Bar. We made a careful inquiry and examination relative to their moral character, general learning, and other qualifications to take the Kansas Bar examination. On Tuesday, February 25th and Wednesday, February 26th, these applicants came before us and were examined pursuant to the rules of the court. Based upon that examination, we find that they do possess the requisite learning in the law for admission to the bar, and we therefore recommend the granting of the petitions for admission to the Kansas Bar of the following named individuals. Please stand and signify your presence when I call your name. Margaret Claire Boggs. Kaylee Brooke Brand.
Present.
Audra Beth Clark. Chantel Renee Duncan.
Present.
Zachary Robert Green. Rachel Henderson.
Present.
William Pierce Honnold.
Present.
Madison Lynn Ilsman. Excuse me. Michaela Curls.
Present.
Grayson Catherine Martin. Hunter Rose Masseter Negron. Robert James Newman. Michael James Owen. Anne Marie Lampy Romero. Hunter Thomas Roberts. Excuse me. Sarah Elizabeth Shankle. Lauren Crane Taylor. Lindsay Catherine Vanleberg. Sandra Velasquez. Riley Kristen Wiesman. On behalf of the Kansas Board of Law Examiners, I, Chairman Carol Park, respectfully move for the admission of these individuals as members of the Bar of the State of Kansas.
I second the motion.
Thank you.
Thank you, both of you. Having now received the favorable report of the Kansas Board of Law Examiners, the candidates will now be admitted to the practice of law in the state of Kansas. Another applause point. I will now ask Mr. Doug Shima, the clerk of the Kansas Appellate Courts, to please come forward to administer the oath.
Thank you, Honor. Please stand, raise your right hand. Do not repeat the oath, but say "I do" at the end. You do solemnly swear or affirm that you will support and bear true allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Kansas, that you will neither delay nor deny the rights of any person through malice, for lucre, or from any unworthy desire, and that you will not knowingly foster or promote or give your assent to any fraudulent, groundless, or unjust suit, that you will neither do nor consent to the doing of any falsehood in court, and that you will discharge your duties as an attorney and counselor of the Supreme Court and all other courts of the state of Kansas with fidelity both to the court and to your cause and to the best of your knowledge and ability, so help you God. Your Honor, I present the court the newly admitted attorneys in Kansas.
Thank you. Congratulations, new admittees. Would you please turn around? Like to, well, you stay looking that way for a moment. We will, to all of those in the audience, I do want to introduce this new group of attorneys to you. And take time, find those special guests that are out there and look at their smiling faces. Really take in the pride you're seeing there. remember how much they have done to assist and support you. And now, new attorneys, it's appropriate for you to say thank you to them for all those good people who have helped you to make this day possible. So please join me in applause to those people. You may now be seated. It's a longstanding tradition of our court to have one of our members make a short speech. We lovingly call the graduation speech. Today, we're honored to invite Justice KJ Wall to present that address on behalf of all of us. Justice Wall.
Thank you, Chief Justice, and good morning and welcome to the Kansas Bar, everybody. Today is really an exciting day for all of you and your families and friends that have joined you in the celebration. Having demonstrated already that this is a very exuberant audience, I hesitate to bring in any cloudy skies or gray notes, but I do think that I wanted to start with a sobering reality, because as you're now officially a member of our legal community, you're stepping in at a pretty unique time, one in which the public's trust in our institutions has reached alarmingly low levels. And I'll give you some data to illustrate that. Pew Research, in their most recent study, found that trust in the federal government stands at just 22%. And our legal institutions have not been immune from this trend. The Annenberg Public Policy Center reports that trust in the judicial branch or the legal system has declined. What once was at a 75% approval rating has now dropped to just under 50%. Some of the largest points being dropped in the last 4 years alone. Unfortunately, the public's perception of lawyers doesn't fare a lot better. Gallup's polling in 2023 reflects that only 25% of Americans have a favorable view of the legal profession. And of course, that perception doesn't match the reality, and I think we all know that. But it's a serious problem, because without trust in the rule of law and the institutions that are designed to uphold it, the very social contract starts to fray. And if the public can't trust that they'll get just results from the legal process, they'll begin to turn to other less constructive ways to settle their disputes and grievances. So I think the point is that as you're entering the profession, it's more important than ever to know that justice doesn't require just favorable or fair results, but also the public's confidence that they can access our system and secure a fair and just result and outcome. I guess the second observation that I'll leave with you is that trend that I just discussed, and I promise I'll try to move to brighter skies in my presentation. I find it really surprising given the historical relevance and significance of the community that you have just joined by taking that oath. Since the inception of our very country, lawyers have played a pivotal role in our constitutional democracy. We had 32 of the 55 delegates at the Constitutional Convention were attorneys. And if you look at the history of Kansas law, the profession you are now walking into, it's the same, if not more vivid. We had 17 of our delegates at the Wyandotte Constitutional Convention in 1859 that were lawyers that were pivotal to the framework of the Constitution. Now, of course, at that time, those delegates did not include women, but female attorneys, women attorneys in our state were at the convention, and they had lobbied hard and successfully secured rights that were unprecedented at the time into the state constitution. And women attorneys didn't stop there, right? They continued to advocate for suffrage. And in 1912, successfully added that to our state constitution, right? 8 years before the 19th Amendment became the law of our state. Moving forward, during the civil rights era, you see the same presence of our community. Several of the plaintiffs in Brown versus the Board of Education were represented by Kansas lawyers. And long before then, Kansas lawyers at the state level and utilizing the state court systems challenged municipal ordinances and practices that segregated privileges and benefits offered to the public, right? Swimming pool access or segregation policies, school access, et cetera. Years before Brown versus the Board of Education, Kansas lawyers successfully obtained injunctions against those practices. And even our court in 1940 affirmed those rulings in a decision, I can't remember the name, it's against the city of Newton in 1940, right? Kern v. the city of Newton. Anybody that wants to cite check me there. But the significance of joining this community today is beyond the historical, right? If you look around, you yourself and those that are sitting next to you are going to shape the future of this profession and what it looks like moving forward. You have an important role in that process. And I know that's true because I stand here with the benefit of hindsight. And I can look down the bench at Judge Federico and recall that 26 years ago, he and I were starting out together as one else at KU Law, right? And our classmates and himself went on to do a lot of things to shape the profession as it stands today. And everybody has an important role in that process. And our classmates and ourselves took different paths, but we all started where you stand today, where you took that oath, right? It all started right there. And it just goes to show, I think, that each of you will have that power to shape and influence what our profession looks like. And I think it's important when you do that to remember that those outside the profession, they form their perceptions about our institution based on their interactions with you, right? They don't know the reality they only understand the legal institution conceptually, very vaguely, but it becomes real when they have an interaction with you or another attorney, right? So that's the power that you hold. And I guess my final observation will be the words that you just took in the oath, right? The oath set out in Rule 726 of our Supreme Court rules. And you just took that oath. And it sounds very ceremonial. And it is, because you're at a transition now. But they're also a commitment. And let me just walk through a couple of those commitments that you just made. One is to swear and support and bear true allegiance to the Constitution, right? Not a political party, not an ideology, not even a particular constituency, but a constitutional set of standards that transcends all of those interests. And I think at a time when polarization threatens our civic discourse, that commitment is more important now than ever. You also promised that you wouldn't delay or deny the rights of any person through malice, lucre, or unworthy desire, and that you would pledge to never assert a fraudulent, groundless, or unjust suit. That's a reminder that, right, you're in an adversarial system, no doubt, but when you're operating in that system, integrity is not negotiable. That's essentially your commitment. And that pledge really confronts one of the most persistent criticisms of our profession. It's this belief that I think is really unfounded, that a lawyer will say or do anything so long as they're paid to do it, right? And even more recently, that our system can be used as a weapon rather than a tool to rectify injustice. I think we know, and you know, having taken that oath and understanding this community, that's not the case. But it's important that through your actions, that the public knows that and experiences that firsthand. So when you took that oath, and I believe you'll take the federal oath, or some of you will hear in a few moments, it is truly a crossing of a threshold. It's a culmination and a new beginning, right? It's the closing chapters of what I'm sure feels like decades, but was certainly years of education and preparation to step into this profession. And then also the start of your professional journey and membership into this historic legal community. And as you embark on that career, I really hope that you are mindful that those interactions moving forward, whether you're in a courtroom, a boardroom, a public meeting, or even, especially for those that may be practicing in smaller communities, out at dinner or getting donuts and coffee in the morning, you are your conduct and your interactions are the embodiment of our legal institution. And that conduct and character will decide whether public faith in our institutions rises or falls in the years to come. And I can tell from your faces and the family members and friends behind you that you'll seize that opportunity and you'll continue to make those contributions to our community that's going to resonate for generations to come on many multiple families that you interact with in your representation of those clients. And for that reason, I'm excited to be one of the first to welcome you to the Kansas Bar, and congratulations to you all.
Thank you, Justice Wall. As we've mentioned a few times, we also give you the opportunity today for those who wish to become a member of the federal bar to take the oath there. We're very fortunate to be in a state where our state and federal courts work together on many things, including public service projects and public education about the court system and other meaningful projects that transcend really our work within the courts. Many other states don't have joint ceremonies. You have to find your own way to navigate getting sworn into both bars and do that type of thing. But our state and the judges work together to give you this opportunities, and we're very pleased to be able to do it. And it also gives us a chance to share the bench with our federal colleagues as we do so. And so for the first time today, because he's fairly recently become a member of the federal bench, we are very happy to be able to welcome Judge Rich Federico to join us today. And I'm going to now turn our proceedings over to him.
Thank you, Madam Chief Justice. Let me first say what a pleasure and honor it is to sit with the Kansas Supreme Court. So I appreciate and thank you all for the invitation, the opportunity to be here and part of this ceremony. And what a great ceremony it is. I was mentioning to the Chief Justice, I didn't get the opportunity to do what you're all doing this morning. When I first joined the bar, I took the oath very unceremoniously in the office of my executive officer at Officer Indoctrination School at Naval Station, Newport, Rhode Island. I took the oath and then they said, get back to work in San Federico. So I'm so thrilled to see what this ceremony brings, the joy it brings to you and your families. So let me be the next to say congratulations to each of you. It takes a lot of hard work and determination and grit to get to this point. And I wish I could tell you the hard work is over, but you know better than that. This is a tremendously rewarding profession. It is a privilege to be a member of the bar and to practice law, but it's going to challenge you in all the ways. And we need your talent, we need your integrity, and we need your dedication as lawyers in Kansas to go forth and, just as Justice Wall was saying, to carry on the traditions of those who have come before you in the ethical practice of law. I want to underscore a couple points I'm sure that you just heard from Justice Wall and some from the other speakers this morning that occur to me as if you're starting new in this profession, and some of you may already have licenses in other jurisdictions, and if so, welcome to Kansas. But we live in a really rapidly evolving world. And the tools that are available to you as practicing lawyers today are not tools that were available to many of us when we started the practice of law. So as things change and change rapidly, what I submit is not going to change are the ethical values that really underpin and are the foundation of this profession. And it will be a challenge for you as you engage with your clients, with each other, and opposing counsel to figure out how to utilize these tools while not in any way changing, again, the foundation of the ethical practice that is your obligation now as lawyers in the state of Kansas. And then secondly, I think it's important for you to consider and to recognize that as members of the bar, that you are a leader in your respective community. That comes with the license, whether you want to be or whether you like it or not. You will be a leader with your individual clients. You will be a leader with colleagues and within your respective communities. So I would encourage you to think about what kind of leader you want to be and how it is that you can use this license that you have now earned to practice law to make your families, yourself, your communities better as a leader, because that is part of the job. What I'm really here to do is to welcome and swear those of you who are joining the federal bar. So I'm going to talk just a little bit about our federal court here in the District of Kansas. On behalf of Chief Judge Eric Melgren, who sits in Wichita, Kansas, and his colleagues in the district court, the magistrate judges of the United States District Court for the District of Kansas, we welcome you to the federal bar. And I hope this is one step in the federal bar before you go on. We would love to welcome you to join our court at the United States Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit. Our circuit spans 6 states and a little sliver of Yellowstone National Park. We have 8 federal districts and our courthouse is primarily in Denver. However, we get out into the circuit, and 2 weeks ago, we had a sitting here in Topeka at Washburn School of Law and also at the University of Kansas. So you will see us out in the circuit. And for those of you interested in appellate practice, I would love to see you and welcome you to stand before us and present argument in Denver at the Byron White Courthouse. In a moment, I'm going to ask Heather Tildes, a dedicated public servant of the federal judiciary for over 10 years, my colleague and friend with me in the 10th Circuit, to come forward and administer the oath. And once you complete that oath, you will then become a member of the federal bar here in the District of Kansas. So Ms. Tildes, if you would please come forward. For those of you who will be taking this oath, if you would please stand.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, that I will do no falsehood, nor consent to the doing of any in court, that I will not wittingly or willfully promote or sue any false, groundless, or unlawful suit, nor give aid or consent to do the same, that I will delay no person for lucre or malice, but I will conduct myself in the office of an attorney within the courts according to the best of my knowledge and discretion, and with good fidelity, as well as to the court, as to my clients, so help me God. Congratulations.
Please all be seated. Well, those of you who are now sworn in as members to the United States District Court of the District of Kansas, I say congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you in federal court. And with that, Madam Chief Justice, I hand the gavel back to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, Ms. Tildes, for your assistance with this as well. So again, members of the bar, we welcome you. It's been a great privilege to share this ceremony with you today. Today is just the first time you will take the oath. Kind of sadly, I think, we don't do a ceremony every year when you sign the oath. It is a little bit more of that just routine. But I really encourage you to not let it become just that routine. When you renew your license each year, take a few moments. Really read the oath, don't just sign it. And I really invite you and urge you to pull out the preamble to the Code of Professional Conduct, at least that part, and read it. And remember that as a resource at times when you have that kind of a day where you just need that kick of inspiration. Because reading through those words and thinking about the lofty principles that are contained in that preamble really help reinvigorate the ideals that brought you to this day. And I hope that you have many, many decades of times when you renew that thought process as you renew your license and take the oath for yet another year. So today, reflect on your success. This is a realization of one of your dreams, a dream you've undoubtedly worked very hard to achieve. So celebrate, and to begin that celebration with you, we will note that we appreciate the assistance of the Kansas Bar Association, who are represented here and also downstairs, who are helping host the reception for you there. And one final thing before we adjourn, we will follow our tradition of the court to step down off the bench and greet each of you individually as we welcome you to the bar. So thank you all for coming. Congratulations to all of you. It's an achievement for everyone in this room, and especially to those of you who are new attorneys. We wish you the best. Thank you. Court is now adjourned.